Let me. The discussion will have Dr. Martin Morgan as well, because he actually boasted that he has swimmers in his village that that can win Olympic medals for Nigeria. Ooh. And I said, when Swim Guru come, you will face him as well. All right, Swim Guru, good evening once again. I saw your interview on the BBC, and that was the major motivation for me to also have you on the show. I saw you training the blinds and those other disabled people that have one legs, one hand cut off, and you posted that you can actually train people how to swim with safety on their mind for just meeting them one day. I was like, how do you do that? And where is the motivation coming from? You don't do regular swimming. The regular swimming, fine. But why do you want to go for the blind and those with one leg and one arm? I was surprised, and I really want to know the motivation for going that route.
Okay, so first of all, before I start answering your question, I would like us to be politically correct, okay? Because in the world right now, there's a movement for canceling people, so I don't want you to cancel.
I'm sorry.
In the world, they try to say visually impaired.
Okay.
But here in Nigeria, when you say visually impaired, the people really don't understand what you're talking about. So I would like to make that very clear. So when we say blind, we do not mean any disrespect for anybody. We are just trying to use the word that is very popular in our country and in Africa. We do not have all those biases that people in other parts of the world have, so it is okay to say blind as long as your intentions are good. So, who am I? My name is Emeka Chuksunadi. Let me say it once again. I am called the Swim Guru because I have very special gifts that some other people that do not have. So with my wealth of knowledge and overwhelming knowledge, I would say that comes from my passion for swimming as a swimming enthusiast. I happen to be able to do things that a lot of people in the world cannot do. I can teach you, and have been teaching swimming since I was 17 years old. And I do have the ability to teach any human being at all, once they strongly desire to swim, how to swim in just one day. And to shock you, I also get them to dive. So the BBC report you talked about, I had a visually impaired, a blind person actually diving on his first day in 10 minutes. He got blind in 2010, and he already had an image of what it feels like to swim. But when they are born blind, it takes me a lot longer than 10 minutes to teach them, because they have no image of what it feels like to swim. So I have to build the image in their heads before we get to that. So I could teach everyone how to swim in one day, but does it stay in your head after I've taught it? No, because there's something that we have that is called the implicit memory. And when you learn how to drive or to swim or to ride a bicycle, this has to be repeated several times for it to be registered in your implicit memory, so that even if you do not do it for the next 50 years, when you get back into the water, you'll remember it. So we need a minimum of 3 days or 3 classes to get you to remember everything I taught you in one day. So when I started the project last year, my Swimming One Day project, so it's called Swimming One Day for a reason, because I have that unique ability that there are very, very few of us in the world, and I am the only one that can promise you in Nigeria that I will definitely get you to start swimming in one day when you come, no matter your fear or your phobia, no matter your disability. But like I said in the BBC interview again, if you have a disability that has a neurological root to it, then I would not be able to get you to swimming one day, but we do get you to swim. So that's the good news. Because kids with neurological problems like autism or cerebral palsy, they function the best in water. And we could actually give them a lot of healing and pain relief when we get them in the water. So I am one of a few people that do water therapy in Nigeria right now. I do not know people that have the kind of knowledge I have because I'm new. So hopefully we'll find more people that could join forces with us to do it. We're open to partnering up with everybody that wants to partner up with us. But the good news is that with my interest in the disabled community, I have been lucky to be brought up by a mother that taught me that we are all equal, and she would drop me at the Cheshire home when I was younger, and we would go to the market, and then when she comes back from the market, she would pick me up, and that was where I developed a lot of interest in disabled people, and I see them as my friends and as equals, and I don't treat them any less. And the idea of the movement that we're building is so that we could also give them a voice, so that hopefully in the near future we would have superstars that are disabled, and we would have very popular people and great people also, giving them equal opportunities. And I have to shock you again. One of the most interesting things I found out from the SNF program that I did recently and from teaching them in Nigeria is that they actually have more will to do better than regular people that do not have any disabilities. So we did a SNF program with 9 children from the Green Apple School here in Lagos, and we had 2 kids from an NGO called the Ready Foundation, and we found out that one of the kids did much better than all the kids put together. He did 40 lengths up the pole, and none of the other kids could do it. And he actually happens to have one leg. He's an amputee kid, and he performed much better. And then the little girl that was the youngest in the whole group was doing so much better after 2 classes than a lot of the other kids. So the fact that they have a disability doesn't mean that they do not have what it takes to be normal. I would rather call them specially gifted people. And if I would call them specially gifted people, it's because I realize that God is giving them special gifts in other angles. And what they lack because they do not have eyes or ears or hear, or they do not have a leg, God always gives them like a backup, something else to cover up for it, and that does make them superhuman beings sometimes. So the idea is that we're trying to do an awareness campaign, not just for swimming and not just for climate change and the consequences, and trying to get people prepared for that. But one of the major missions of my organization is disability awareness and inclusion in the society, so that we would all be able to get these people recognized as the basic structure of the society, where if we do it like most developed countries have done, then we're able to exploit their genius, and economically we would become real great superpowers. There's so much that we underestimate when we get them out of the normal circle and we lock them up. So my project is all about getting these people out of the closet, and we are going to make them superstars and super champions, and that's what it's all about.
All right, talking about champions, is it does swimming have anything to do with where you come from? Because I know we have some riverine people in Nigeria, and more or less like they are born, it's innate for them to swim from day one. Does it have to do with where you come from, or anybody can have the same skills?
I have to
just like Martin Morgan said in his village, you don't need to teach anybody swimming.
I have to say that swimming is not innate. It's not a skill that you have inside you. Okay? And I would say that with all assurance. Okay? People are not born with the swimming skill, but we are tuned to be swimmers. So as human beings, we are tuned to be swimmers naturally, but we're not born with it. Some people have it in them to learn easier and faster than others. Why? Because they grew up in an environment or in a condition that helps them. I think that I had this love for the water even before I got into it. So when my dad introduced me and taught me the first day, he looked away and I ran to the deep end of the swimming pool, jumped in, and people started screaming, "He's going to die, he's going to die." And I swam to the shallow end.
Let me talk to Morgan. What's your take on that? Lots of your guys from that part of the country can stay as in the village river, like you said. but are they born with it, or they also train?
Well, I think like what you said, the proximity of the location matters a lot of the target where you are or water. We are from the water side. I think there are not two ways about that. Practically, everybody swim, but I think the learning process will be faster, like you said. And is that the question I have here is that do you train people only to swim, or do you train to make them champions, or you only train them to know? Because the physically challenged people, these are special creatures. They are very special, like you said, the autism and the rest. But what I want to get from you now, swimming in the river is an open swimming process. It's open. It's not a closure like a swimming pool that you're already known to that. How? If I put you in Cross River State River, will you be able to train people, which is an open swim? You say you make champions of them. Do you train people to become champions, or you just train them because they want to swim, or you teach them how to swim? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
they are from the riverside. We swim.
Okay. I like that question. That's a very brilliant question. Thank you so much for that. So we agree that conditioning can help people to learn how to swim faster. And we agree that the desire to learn how to swim could get them to swim faster too. When people don't want to learn how to swim, I do not do magic. My Naija Guru magic, as I like to call it, only works if you desire strongly to learn how to swim. So let's get it right. People already call me Papi Water. I may be Papi Water, but I don't have those powers to make someone that doesn't want to learn something to learn it. The first condition is that you must want it. If you want it, then it's going to be possible. So he was asking me about his river, but then I'm going to tell you that I don't even like swimming pools. I am an endurance swimmer, and I only love to swim at sea. So river is small for me. I feel more comfortable when I'm at sea, and that's why people call me Papi Water. But I keep telling them that Mami Water, Papi Water doesn't exist, because I have swum all my life at seas, different ones all over the world where I've traveled, and I have never seen them. And then I spend my maximum number of hours that I've done at sea is 5 hours. I am not kidding. I would be in there and I would feel more comfortable in the sea than on land. This is because I love the water so much. It's not my fault. So I've done maximum of 5 hours at sea. I love the sea. I actually want to get people to start doing open water swimming. I have a very special apparatus that is called a swim buoy that will tie around your waist for you to do your survival class with me. So I do, and I have already taken the first and the best swimmer we had last year when I started the project, the Swimming One Day project. I've taken her to sea and she's done her survival class. It's there on my Instagram. So the idea of swimming at sea could not just be swimming, but it's very therapeutic because God has put a lot of minerals in that sea water that heals you of so many things. If you've got asthma, for instance, and you go so many times to swim at sea, you would get healed. And so many maladies that you could get healed from. And that's why I'm the water therapist. So if you want help, and you have so many different types of maladies that we would heal you from when you get swimming or when you get moved around in the water in a certain way. Because I have knowledge of a lot of maladies. So when you have knowledge about different sicknesses, and you have passion for water and love swimming, then you could give swimming therapy or water therapy. Then coming to making people champions, it is fun to be able to just not teach people how to swim, but when people show and exhibit special talents and love for what it takes, I, as their coach, I give them a very hard challenge, because if I'm doing 3 to 4 hours in the swimming pool with you, training you, you gotta do better. And because I'm also a life coach, I think that Nigeria has the biggest chance of winning in the Olympics if we build our swimming academy like we plan to do hopefully in 3 years, with my guidance and with my understanding of the human psyche as a psychologist minor in the university and years of life coaching. I think we do have a very fair chance. So I do not just teach every human being that lives on earth how to swim. We teach from 6 months. So mothers that have their children and they're 6 months old, you could bring them as long as they are 6 months old and they're healthy, they could start. When the children have disabilities, we start them off a little bit later. But the idea of training young ones for the Paralympics and for the Olympics is already in the bud. We've started reaching out to parents with disabled kids, and we're saying, please register your child. If you want that your child is not going to be in the closet anymore and that is going to be a child that you'll be proud of, they can study medicine and still be a Paralympic super champion. They can study medicine and still be an Olympic champion with us. So there is that plan, and we're already working on it. But now it's left for you parents that have all these disabled kids in your homes to be able to register with us so that we could make this a reality. So the people that live in the riverine areas, they have a very special gift. They are able to do non-conventional swimming. So what we try to do is to take them, teach them conventional swimming, which helps them so that they don't have body aches anymore and they can last a lot longer and they could actually compete. So this is the idea. All those your people in your riverine area, we want them to come out to Lagos, to come out to Abuja, wherever we are, wherever we build our swimming academies. We want to make champions out of them because they deserve a shot. And then I have a very special love for the people that are less privileged, because I do believe that because they don't have anything, they give it their all. And the black man is very strong, and I love the way they do their thing. So I believe in the black man, I believe in Africa, and I'm here for us. And we're here to fight. We're going to be the best. And I know that when we set our hearts to something, we actually excel. So I'm really looking forward to having a great time out here. I'm having an amazing time already teaching all these people. And I challenge you, mommy, daddy, however old you are, we teach from 6 months till what? Even if you're 90 years old, you could be a student with us. Okay, we teach every form of disability. If you're scared, if you're fat, if you're skinny, whatever you are, there is a real chance for you to be able to learn how to swim with us. And I promise you, I have never failed. So if you think that it's going to be a failing thing, then think again. So when you start with us, you would have the best exercise and habits that would heal you, make you feel better, that would make you look sexier too, that would do everything for you. So much so that you don't even need to bother with the gym anymore. So this is what it's all about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Emeka Nadi Chuks, the swim guru. And you've spoken so much about your passion for swimming and all of that. But if I ask this, Charles YG also has a question for you.
Yes, the question I had is that if you take an Ijoma, somebody from the Niger Delta, and you ask him to dive into the third mainland, into the Lagos Lagoon, you find him, he will swim home, he will swim to shore. But why is it that that has not been able to translate to the Olympics? At the Olympics, we've not been able to get any medal from swimming. Why is it that the non-conventional swimmers do not know the guidelines to become to master the sport of swimming?
Well, this is the thing. I was talking to him earlier. everybody seems to be more concerned about, in Nigeria I found, about supporting footballers. So if you don't support swimmers, how are they ever going to get there? But that's what my Swimming One Day project is all about. So not only do we teach you fast, at the fastest rate possible, how to swim, but the idea is that we are going to raise funds however it is that we're going to do it. But I've been a business consultant, and I've owned an events and tourism company, and I've owned a catering company, and all of these companies were very successful. So my thing is that we're out here to do everything in our power to get these things to start happening. And the only thing that I know how to do very well in my life is swimming. Actually, when I'm swimming, no white person comes close to me because they cannot stay as long.
Have you been? Why have you not been in the competitions to be able to prove to everyone that no white people come close?
If you want for me to be in a competition, you do the kind of competition I do, which would be endurance. So
I'm talking about these Olympics of a team.
Oh yes, but you need
because
to think.
We've seen the light of Mike Phelps and the rest.
Yeah. Okay. You need to think that I am an intellectual. I have 3 university degrees. So all my life I do endurance swimming, but because of my passion. So I built 2 companies. I've been in the university, like studying degrees.
You don't really take
I would not
as
go
a professional cause or
I have
something.
never really been a professional with swimming, apart from when I was 17 when I started. I started with school kids, but I have done it out of passion and as a hobby. And I have done all the learning about water therapy and taking care of disabled people with swimming just because I love swimming and because I love the people. So the idea of going for competitions has never really been my thing, because I was brought up in an environment where I was taught that we all pass together and we all win together. So I've never had that spirit of, okay, I just want to go and win medals for me. So I am doing the right thing that I'm cut out to do, because right now I'm like, I'm going to get all these people to start winning, but in a very healthy environment, because as a psychologist and as a life coach, I understand what it takes to build champions and winners.
And you mentioned putting your money into these, and those guys will be representing Nigeria. Are you talking to the Ministry of Sports or talking to the government on the Swimming Federation on the possibilities? Because we have actually interviewed the Swimming Federation, Aquatic Federation president here before as well, like you are here.
Yes, I'm not talking to the Aquatic Federation president, but I'm talking because I'm more excited about giving an opportunity to the disabled ones in Nigeria. Because, okay, you need to think that I am not the kind of guy that I go to do what everybody else is doing. It doesn't excite me. I understood when I got here, I wanted to build a swimming organization to teach people how to swim. That was my mission. I had 2 missions for the Swimming One Day project when I got here. The first mission, okay, you guys are going to laugh about this because it's funny. The first mission was to teach everybody at the fastest rate possible how to swim. That was my first mission. Why? Because of climate change and because of the fact that I am not just a swimming enthusiast, but I am also a climate activist. So the idea to teach them swimming so that they will be able to save themselves with the amount of disasters that are happening was something that was very strong for me, and it was supposed to be a swimming organization that deals with only swimming and climate change, educating people about the possibilities of changing their bad habits so that it would be better, and making it very possible for them to understand that their good decisions and their bad decisions actually affect the climate. So that was my 2 major missions. Okay, because of the ability that I have, I was like, I'm going to build a bunch of coaches, and we don't even want to bother with Olympics and Paralympics. But what happened when I got here? I wanted to talk to the Minister of Sports, and I tried to talk to him, but he didn't listen. And then later on, he got his aide to talk to me, and his aide sent me to talk to the president well, the ex-president, but they didn't know at the time, the ex-president of the Aquatic Federation of Nigeria, who told me that I am the only one that actually can teach blind people to swim in Nigeria, as it is. He said that, and he said, well, you do it also in one day. That is amazing. He was impressed, and he told me, well, if you could do something for them in that regard and get them started, I'm like, absolutely. Because he told me that they really did not have an official team yet for visually impaired people or blind people. So I was like, no, this is an injustice to them. And because I've always been a justice fighter and activist all my life, I went back to Barcelona in November and I applied to understudy a 3-time gold Paralympic world champion medalist that is known like a superstar. I applied in one day, and in a few minutes they called me and they were like, oh my God, we saw your Instagram, we love what you're doing, come. I went the next day and they sat with 3 people with me and they were like, we love what you're doing, you're getting the training for free. So I actually went back to Europe, got training on how to build a Paralympic team, and I'm back here now and I'm all of a sudden super excited about building a Paralympic team because that was what I learned from them. And because I have that knowledge, I'm also open to building an Olympic team, but that was not part of the initial plan. So you notice that our mission changed, but when I started from May last year until November, I was taking my disabled students to swim, and you will not believe it, I got discriminated against just because I was hanging out with disabled people. And that for me was a big one because I was shocked. It wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't 3 times, it was more times. And one of them was so big that something clicked and I had to add another mission to my already 2 missions, which is disability awareness and inclusion, because I went to this pool with a visually impaired student and 2 girls that had their birthday party ran out of the pool. So the manager came back and said, Oga, you need to come out, you need to come out. I said, Oga, wait, team. They say, they said the girl vomit for inside water. I say, vomit for inside water. This is transparent water. If this is transparent water, how can someone vomit and you don't see it? He said, just come out. I said, Oga, if you don't tell me why we go just come out, I know they come out. Go carry police, come carry me come out. It was when he realized that I was not going to yield that he now told me that it was the 2 girls that had their birthday parties that said that they would not go back into the water. And I was like, excuse me, my blind student is the best swimmer in the pool. Everybody is admiring her. And you want us to leave because of 2 ignorant people? I'm disappointed in you, Mr. Manager. And we had planned to do a 1 to 2 hours class that day. I did 5 hours. And I was like, no way I'm going to let you win this. And that was how we started with the 3rd mission that we added, which is disability awareness and inclusion. And the reason why I took it on is because as an intellectual and as a very educated and knowledgeable person in that regard, I knew that it was a fight that I could fight. So it's part of what we do now, and it's really taking over a lot because if you notice, the BBC interview was on the disabled, and I love it because at least I could give them that voice and tell people how people with disabilities are treated in other parts of the world, which is something that we're not used to, because I like the fact that we're able to treat them like equals, not as different people. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I like the part you said you're an activist. I like the part that you are now creating awareness for the people. You talk about the climate change. You talk about the safety, swimming with safety. Just straightforward. As an activist, in Tangiers, Rabat, Marrakesh area, we have a lot of migrants dying on the high sea, and you're a sea swimmer. As an advocate of the climate environment and better safe safety expert, as we talk about. What have you do? What are you doing? What is the organization doing for these migrants? Even in Nigeria here, we have a lot of them. People dying. Is it because our waters are dirty?
Let me also add
your question,
to that one, so that you can
answer it
together. Then we can wrap this session up. We know, for example, Lagos State, they are trying to also bring waterways as means of transportation, and we've seen lots of accidents. Yes, that take some lives in the process. Is there any ways one can actually learn safety in terms of in the days of accident like that? In case of accident like that, can someone also learn from you?
Okay. I love what you guys have asked me, and I want to say that when I started this project, one of the major things that I was going against, and I am a radical. I'm a very big radical. So I do not follow trend or convention. One of the major things I stand against is people trying to teach you that you could be safe in and around water without knowing how to swim. It's a farce. I will say it anywhere, anytime, any day. It's a farce. It just does not exist. Water safety without being able to swim. It just does not exist. Yes, we could build a fence, but a child could climb over it. You could be careless and you forget to open you leave the doors open. So many things can happen. I think and I believe that the safest way to keep everybody safe and to prevent drowning is to teach, which is my mission in the Swimming One Day project, is to teach everybody as fast as possible water safety rules, which is already something that we are hoping that we will start dispersing for schools to teach to children, because we have a Swimming One Day water safety anthem that you'll see on all of our social media pages, and survival swimming. My organization is new. We just started. There's a lot to be done, and we want to partner up with everybody. Talking about the people that died in Tangiers and that always are dying when they try to go to look for their Jack Ma syndrome thing. I have to say that I am also an advocate for no more Jack Ma-ing. Enough of the Jack Ma! I left my life in Europe with 3 university degrees. I have an amazing life. But I left it to come and live in Nigeria because if you guys have not noticed, Africa is the new America. Everything we have here is gold. Check out the number of expatriates that want to come and live here. It's just the height of ignorance that our people actually try to run away. We do not give Nigeria a chance. We do not give our own people and our own things a chance. I wanted to buy a pot. They told me to buy American pot that has a covering on it, that when you scrape that covering, you get cancer. And they told me it's the best one. I said, excuse me, I'm going to live in Nigeria with this pot. And I know how my people are. They will come. I'll cook for them. They'll just go into the kitchen and forget to tell me. And they'll scrape the pot with an iron sponge. I'm like, so you want me to pay more to buy cancer when we have Nigerian pots? Our people have to start learning to give us a chance so that we could actually be able to survive. If we do not change our mindset and start giving Nigeria a chance, we do not have an opportunity of even ever succeeding in anything. I came here and everybody told me I couldn't do anything, and I have done everything that they told me that I couldn't do. It's all about a mindset. So what we're doing is that we are new and we believe in Nigeria. We believe in Africa. We have a lot of things to be done. We would like to cover Africa in 10 years. This is a very ambitious dream that I have, because we need to do between 5 to 10 major cities in Nigeria, train about 50 coaches. It's a very, very ambitious project I have, and then move on to other African countries. So if you notice, the full name of the organization is Swimming One Day Africa Charity Initiative. So the idea is not just Nigeria, the idea is everyone getting to benefit. And because I'm a trainer and I've been a business consultant for so many years in Europe, and I've helped people build their business, I have the perfect picture of what I want to create, and I have the perfect abilities and knowledge for me to be able to create it. The only thing that is stopping us will be funds and manpower. Manpower is coming already. Now we hope that you guys could join us and become part of the movement, because my organization, the Swim in One Day organization, is not just a charity, but it's a movement and it's a campaign. Because how do we get people to understand that we could do it together by becoming one as a union and becoming part of the Swimming One Day movement? How do we get the message out there that it is more important than ever to learn how to swim? It is only when we get to campaign and educate people differently. Because for now, the idea of swimming in Niger is cruise. The idea of swimming in Niger is Efizi, Shakara, selfie. What we need to understand is that swimming is not going to be business as usual anymore. We're going to turn it into something that is going to be not just life-saving, but the healthiest way of living. And with the climate change advocacy and awareness that we're doing, hopefully we'll have a healthy environment for our children to grow up in, so that the lungs and the respiratory problems will reduce, and we could build our economy and make it the best economy in the world if we embrace swimming. I'm sorry, I know that because I'm a visionary. Bye, thank you.
All right, thank you, Emeka Inadi. That's a laudable vision from you. You said funding is the problem. I pray you get that problem solved as soon as possible, so that we can actually enjoy all of those good picture you've painted about swim and how we can make a lot of good from it. Thanks for being on the show.
Funding is not a problem for me because I'm a business consultant. I can create wealth, but it's timing that is the problem.
Okay.
So if we get funding now, we can do things a lot faster, like our gentle friend here wanted us to go to Morocco and everywhere. Funding will make the thing work faster, but I'm not afraid of the funding because I've got a lot of talents. We could use it to
I would gladly take that as your party shot on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.